so we're here with Dan Zitofsky and Passion for Real Estate Investment, PFREI. This is actually our first podcast.
Wow, I can't believe I'm
Dan
first.
is actually blessing the first podcast. This is great. I see this guy all over Facebook, all over social media. Campaigning, everything too, political. I don't know.
Because I just have nothing else to do in my life.
So I just wanted to bring Dan here. Dan is one of the major players in the game. He does some turnkey rentals. Mm-hmm. He raises capital. He does a lot of stuff, very motivational, inspirational stuff as well that I catch on his social media stuff. So I just wanted to bring Dan here, pick his brain and kind of see, what value he can add. So PFREI, basically, the platform was created for investors like yourself to share some of the strategies and things that you're doing with the investment community, whether it's notes, real estate, investments, to kind of add value to that. And we also going to bring on legal professionals, accountants, taxes, people giving all legal advice, accounting advice.
They keep us right. So when we say, they verify what we say.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So we're going to bring these guys on as well to kind of add value to the platform. So just wanted to bring you here to get the first podcast started off and tell other people about who you are, what you do, and why are you passionate for real estate?
Sure. Well, once again, I'm Dan Zitofsky. I raise capital to actually buy distressed assets and help create wealth for investors and ourselves. I'm passionate about real estate because I love changing the community. I love the lifestyle it's created for myself. And it's not just real estate, it's creating passive wealth. For many years, I think most people know for many years, I was a big home flipper. I would do 30, 40 properties every year. I was netting $40,000, $50,000 per property on a deal. We were doing multiple seven figures every year in business. And it just crumbled. It was the worst thing in the world for me. And people when we talk about that, our book is coming out. We have our Passive Wealth Academy. We talk about that and people get blown away at what we're doing. Because most people in the industry, what they do is they say they're real estate investors, but when you ask them what their vision and what their goals are, it doesn't match up to what they actually say, right? Because they tell you, hey, listen, I'm doing this because I want to spend more time. You want to spend time with your kids at the football game. I saw that.
Absolutely.
Right? You want to spend time with your wife. You want to retire your wife, your husband, your partner. You want to pay for your kids' college education. You want to travel, do what you want, when you want, how you want. Right? But then you look at them, they're out flipping houses and wholesaling houses and dealing with contractors and dealing with tenants. And I said, you know what? I needed to change my life. So back then I thought what was successful was having the nice big houses, which we have, and cars, watches. I mean, I have a watch collection. I'll probably choke most people. Yeah. Boats, I had it all. I had what everyone thought was very successful. But without giving away too much of the book, you'll see really what happened to me is that literally I almost lost my wife, I almost lost my kids, I almost lost everything because all they really cared about was having me around. And when you think you're doing well because you're making seven figures a year after year, giving your kids and your wife everything you could possibly do for them, because that's why we do it, right? But you got to really make that quantum and shift in the mindset that what they want is maybe your time. And I was just blown away. It was like somebody put a knife in my heart and I crumbled. I mean, I was crying. I still remember like it was yesterday. My wife's inside. You can ask her the story. And that's why she comes to these events with me. And I get choked up even talking about it now. And every time I talk about it on stage, I get like a little bit like this, because I remember like it was yesterday, 7.5 years ago. And I made that change. And now I turned this around where I'm living the lifestyle that most people wish to live. And that lifestyle is my time. Yeah. And I've done it with seller finance notes to investors. So I do turnkey rentals. I buy non-performing debt in emerging markets, okay, which might not be in my own backyard here because the numbers just don't work for me. But I buy them in emerging markets that work for investors, that work for renters, that work for myself, and I'm very, very strategic on what I do, how I buy, where I buy, and the numbers working. So the other thing is you always have to take care of your investors. A lot of this business is always about the with them attitude, right? What's in it for me? And I've always turned around, how can I take care of investors so I don't have to worry? So now we're getting ready to do 2 huge developments. We're gonna be doing 2 new funds. So we're going to be raising money for those funds, and it's going to, when you go to your investors and you've done a good job for them for so long, like you have, right? You've been, it's just that much easier. I know we've talked inside, Steve was talking, it's so much easier to actually build that business if you do a good job for people rather than worry about making money on this one deal. So ultimately, I'm doing this business because it's creating a lifestyle for me and my family. And it's not about, for me, it's not about flipping houses, it's not about wholesaling, it's about creating passive wealth. For legacy, to leave a legacy to my family.
Right.
So the one thing I always try to get with people, and I try to get out to them, is really understand your vision and make sure your actions meet your vision. because that's the breaking point, right? That's always the breaking point. You tell me one thing, but you're doing something totally different.
Yeah.
So, and I see you're doing, obviously you're doing great out there. I see what you're doing, and you're kind of living that life.
Some of the stuff that you mentioned is resonate with me because it's important. If you have the vision, a lot of people, they've probably heard about this all over the place. You have to write your goals down, say them every day. These are things that I do every single day, and I'm sure you do as well. In that way, you stay on your goals and getting close to your vision. And some of the things you mentioned is important. Funny, my youngest son, a few months ago, heard me on the phone doing business and everything else, and he said to me, "Hey, I thought real estate equaled freedom." And I'm like, "Yeah, it does." He said, "Well, it's 4 o'clock. Why are you still on the phone?" I said, "Well, can I at least work to 5?" But the point that he picked up on that, hearing me talking and everything else, that the real estate brings freedom. Now he's paying attention and saying, "Okay, let's see the freedom part." So we're all doing this to get more time, to have more joy in our life. So it's very important, and that's why I'm passionate. I'm sure you're passionate for real estate. You get out of the bed the next day to try to figure out where you're going to add value at, how you're going to create more time for your family, which is good. So what can you tell a person who's starting new, because this podcast also is for people who may want to leave their job or who may want to get involved with real estate, and they kind of need that extra advice from somebody who's experienced and who's doing it. What would you say to somebody who's starting new, who's just getting started, who might not have any money, but they're motivated and they want to do it? What advice can you give?
Great, that's a great question. I wish I had this 27 years ago. Back 27 years ago when I started, there was your Robert Kiyosaki's, your Robert Allen, your Carlton Sheets. That's pretty much about it, right? Not that long ago. What I would recommend is, one, if you don't have any money or anything out there, partner with, get a mentor. All right, and provide value. The one thing, right? We have a coaching program, we charge for that, and we do online, we charge for that, because we just don't have the time to really get back as much as we would love to. And the reason people do it, and I'm sure the reason you do it, is because you actually love providing content, you like being a servant to this community, and that's what it's about for me. What I just hate is when I hear people doing things the wrong way. What I hate is when I see gurus taking advantage of people just to make money. And that's the only reason we get involved, because you and I are actually out there doing the business day in and day out. But what I recommend is providing value. Bring some kind of value to a mentor like yourself and say, "Hey, Fuquan, I'm new, I can do this, I don't have money, but what can I provide for you?" Right? Get away from that whiffum attitude. Everyone's an opportunist and a whiffum in this world. Get away from that. What can you do for me, Fuquan? What can I provide you? You're going to have a skill set. There's going to be something. It's like, "Hey, Fuquan, I'll be the project manager. I'll work for free on these 3 deals if you teach me. Let me provide you value. I know you can't get to your properties to make sure that the contractor's there. I know you can't go to Home Depot to pick up your materials. Let me do that for you, just so I can learn." I don't get that a lot. When people call me up, it's like, "Hey, can I have..." Dude, I could drink so much free coffee and eat so much free lunch for the rest of my life. Everyone's like, "Can I pick your..." You know what that means? Can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain means that you don't value my time at all, that my time is not important to you. I shouldn't value my family. I shouldn't value my business because you want to pick my brain. 27 years experience, you want to pick my brain, and you don't provide value. Now, I have people call me up and they want to provide value for us, or I see they're hustling and they're motivated and they're going to do whatever it takes, because this business is hard. Steve just looked at it. It's so hard, this business, not easy. And these flip this house shows, they make it look so easy, right?
Yeah.
And it's not easy business, So are you going to stick around? Every single time I try to mentor somebody or I bring them on, and they don't pay for any kind of education, they don't bring any value to me, and they leave the business after 3 to 6 months, because it's not easy. Deals fall apart. They were counting on that check. They were going on vacation. When the deal falls apart at the closing table or something comes up on title, they're ready to run. All right, what's going to keep them there? So make sure you're ready for this. Make sure you don't think it's easy. Get a great mentor. If you're in this area, geez, if I was doing, flips in this area, if I was doing notes in this, my God, we're in Jersey, we're in your backyard. They're right here. Call Fuquan, offer him some kind of value, figure out what you could do. Maybe you could do help him with his bookkeeping. Maybe you can go to Home Depot for him. Maybe you can go bird dog. Maybe go and knock on doors and driving for dollars, like I used to do. Drive for dollars, knock on doors, find him properties. Then let him teach you the business, and don't look to see what you can make on it. Maybe at the end there's a lot of money and he throws you something, but do that for him. Provide value to an expert in the industry, and that's how you really learn the business without any money.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. And this is one of the reasons we started this platform. So, organically we could bring speakers like yourself and other people who are active in this space and shared information on the social media and engage with the people on social media. So this is actually a mentor setting of PFREI on social media. So we'll be delivering a podcast on real estate. So it's very important, especially if you're looking to get started, as Dan said, finding a mentor and also learning on your own also. It's so much information, I would say, now on social media than when we got started. In the notes or with real estate, like you said, the carbon sheets, and booklets and tape cassettes,
carrying around all these books. And
so
CDs.
now it's easier. They can go to Stitcher or whatever, one of those podcast sites, and get so much information. Bigger pockets. There's so much information out there. They just have to figure out what do they want to focus on, make that the one thing, and make it happen.
Right.
So I definitely appreciate you.
No, I appreciate being the first
podcast.
I love it. And it's going to get better and better.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to come on after 100 because every time I go on somebody's podcast under 100. They call me up and they say, well, you've had the most downloads in your podcast. Then when it gets to like 80, it's like somebody beat you. I'm like, it's a conspiracy. I'm coming back. Make me a deal. At 101, I'm being back.
All right.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Dan Zitofsky. Love it. That's great.